What habits do your parents have that drive you insane? Mom, one of those people that like and share a picture because they think it'll help kids in Africa. Dad, types with one finger so when he uses the computer, you hear a constant tapping for 20 minutes straight. My mom doesn't pay attention to movies, then quizzes people about the plot points she missed. Who is that guy? What's happening now? Where did they get the car? Is the girl still alive? Just watch the movie, Mom. Saying the same thing 10 times in 2 minutes bt slightly changing the sentence structure so they are elaborating. Similarly, my parents will just repeat what they are saying in a slightly different way, acting as though they are somehow expanding on the original idea. I love my dad more than anything, but he has this habit of calling me repeatedly just to tell me something important. For example, I'll be at work, notice 9 missed calls from him, freak out, call him back, only for him to tell me that he was talking to someone in Greece on his ham radio. If I call him, he won't answer. Talking to someone in Greece on his ham radio. That's the most dad thing I've ever heard. My mom is losing her hearing, but she's in denial. She cranks all volumes. When we're in public, or if I bring her for a walk around the neighborhood, she talks about people their houses at full volume. And, of course, any question gets a first answer of what? Hey mom, did dad go to sleep? What? I said. Audible sigh of frustration from dad's room. Never mind. When they sleep, I'm ninja quiet. When I sleep vacuum. Phone call, loud TV, loud talking, demolishing part of the house, fire sirens going off etc. They micromanage everything. I can't wash dishes with them in the room. Being intentionally technologically ignorant. I don't care if you grew up without computers. Get a goddamn computer so I don't have to fax you every time I want to send you a picture. Then it just gets worse. They get a disease-riddled sus laptop, and you have to play whack-a-mole with the never-ending extensions that cling onto their browser, while they blame you for the pop-ups. Walking nude around the house. My dad has an extremely short temper that I've picked up. It's like a never-ending circle of irritation. He'll get annoyed over nothing, then I'll get annoyed at him, and then I'll get annoyed at myself for being annoyed so easily etc. They are control freaks. Dad, you aren't even watching the television. Please give me the remote control over my dead body, you son of a b. My parents would carry out a war of silence that put everyone in the house on edge. I hated it. Read that as war of science. That wouldn't be too bad. Whenever I call them and forget to mention something and attempt to call them back 2 seconds later, yeah, they never freaking answer that second call. Dad says Google that crap all the freaking time. Mom has no idea what to use technology for. She has a smartphone and only recently started texting, which is massively frustrating because she's a renowned scientist working with the Defense Department and is one of the top world leaders in her respective field, and her research team that she leads regularly wins awards. She can use all the cutting edge technology and computer software she needs, but if I ask her to Google something on her phone, she looks at me like I'm a crazy person. Academics. I went to a talk by a Nobel laureate last year and him and 3 professors spent half an hour trying to get the projector to work until the tech guy showed up and hit one button to make it work. When you're that smart, you don't need to know how the world actually works, only how your experiments work. P. Whenever my mom's comes to visit, she will look through my drawers, closets, basically everywhere. After she's done looking for whatever the frick she's looking for, she will go to the kitchen, complain about dishes piled up, even if there is only a spoon in the sink, then proceed to doing the dishes, all the while complaining. I'm 29 years old and moved out of my parents' house over 10 years ago. You should have a friend hide in your closet when your mom's coming over. Scare the crap out of her while she's doing her snooping. If it doesn't make her stop, it'll at least be good for a petty laugh. My dad is a channel flipper, simultaneously watches 2 shows and 2 sporting events at a time, even when we all sit down to just watch one show. My dad does this and it irritates the crap out of me. When a commercial break comes on, he'll go to the other show. Then he won't flip back until they go to commercial by which point we've missed several minutes of the first show. Commercials come. He flips back and we've missed several minutes of that show. It makes it impossible to follow either of them. 2 words. Eating noises. My mom went through a phase where she would rub all her teeth after eating with her finger. Like, imagine a less scrubby version of brushing your teeth, but with a finger instead of a toothbrush. She got offended that it made me gag. My father makes a very strange sound every time he eats. It almost sounds like he's loudly slurping soup, but I hear it when he eats anything. I noticed it one day when we were at White Castle together. I took a pickle off of my burger and he asked me if he can have it. After he ate what I already think is a disgusting food accompanied with such a disgusting sound, I decided I can never eat White Castle again, a promise I kept for about 3 years until last night when I suddenly craved it. Dang their marketing. Then one day he was eating yogurt and I noticed he made the same sound. I went and sat down next to him to observe it, perhaps get to the bottom of this anomaly and offer a solution to a problem he didn't know existed. I thought he was taking in excess air every time he took a bite, but that wasn't the case. I quickly had to leave the room fearful I'd never be able to eat yogurt again without thinking of that sound. Now I hear it at every meal with him. Whether he's eating soup, yogurt, an apple, a burger, steak. What the frick is happening? I can't eat in his vicinity. I guess I have to move out now. I'm 25 anyway. It's been a long time coming. My old roommate made the sound that I can only describe as snoring while eating. I couldn't eat around him. It was so gross. My dad has a habit of speaking his mind very loudly in public. I don't know what it is. Senility, or wanting to have his opinion heard, whatever. We'll be in line at a subway or something and he'll start trying to have a conversation about how many black people there are or how dirty the staff look. My mother brushes her teeth, sticks the toothbrush almost down her throat, chokes herself and starts coughing and spluttering like she's going to vomit everywhere, every single time. Just because no one else has mentioned this, she's brushing her tongue all the way to the back because that's where the bulk bad breath causing bacteria dwell. My mom is always trying to find a way, like, you have to pay for therapy on the 15th of May. She's all like, yes honey, but can't you talk to her so we pay on the 20th of May? No mom, you know we have to pay every 15th day of the month from the start. Why is IT so hard to follow rules? My mom is the worst backseat driver, and a terrible regular driver. Ugh, just thinking about it makes me angry. My dad wakes up every morning and literally rails C until he almost pukes, orders puke, and drinks literally 50 beers any given night. He is trying to get on disability by giving himself diabetes so he doesn't have to work, because he knows he's borderline diabetic. He tried to tell me smoking pot and not believing in God was worse than what he was up to. Haha, yee, good talk. You can't get on disability in America just because you have diabetes. My husband is a type 2 insulin dependent diabetic and works over 40 hours a week. Another guy I know is a type 1 with a pump and has other medical problems as well and still works at the local grocer stocking food. Sometimes my mum wear my clothes because they are comfortable. 17M here. My dad does this, and when he takes her t-shirt off he grabs it by the throat and stretches the frick out of it. All of his t-shirts are sleeve of wizard, and when I catch him in one of mine I get pee. Both of my parents be about something the other does, when they do the exact same goddamn thing themselves. For instance, my mom always makes fun of my dad for falling asleep on the couch and snoring, and she be non-stop about it. Then, not 10 minutes after her comment she's knocked out cold and snoring louder than him. OMFG, my mom does this exact same thing. She'll snap her fingers or make this annoying, high-pitched whoop noise to wake up my dad. Then, lo and behold, 5 minutes later she's snoring away. She also be about my dad farting or forgetting things. Those both pee me off about my dad too, but her farts are even more disgusting and she doesn't realize she's beginning to forget things as well. Smoking. Everyone in my family smokes except me and I bet I'll be the one to die of cancer. Starting conversations with me only when I'm leaving the room. Or when they call you back from all the way on the main floor just as you're about to sit down in your room on the other side of the house when you were just over there. Twice. My dad has a very successful business and has made enough to send 4 kids to college and is about to build his own house. And he still buys 1-ply toilet paper. It's his burning butthole that drives him to succeed. My dad whistles all the time. Like he'll be running up or down the stairs whistling and all you can do is look in the general direction he's in and wonder what kind of a madman did I derive half my DNA from? Is this how the children of serial killers feel? ETA. He is also an animal thrower. As in if you're asleep and he is assigned to wake you up for something, he grabs one of the family pets and throws it on you. The pet is dropped on you from maybe a foot or two above you, so it's fine for the pet in question. When it was the 12-pound cat, it was a total dong move. Now that I have a 40-pound dog, fricked up. Dad. Fricked up. My mom always has to be the last person to say something so that the conversation will continue with her in it. For example, if someone, say, me, asks my sister a question, maybe about school, and my sister answers, I'm having issues with a friend, mom will say something immediately afterwards like, oh, she's having problems with a friend. WTF mom, she just said that. That bothers me just thinking about it. Growing old, I want them to stay the same. Oh, I understand you. My parents had me when they were in their 50s and it's hard to watch them getting older every day. They'll wait until they've been driving for about 2 minutes before putting their seatbelts on. We'll literally reach the top of the street before they put it on. When I'm driving, I refuse to move until everyone is strapped in. Just put that crap on before you start driving and be safe. I know so many people that do this and it drives me nuts. Now we are moving and they are blindly grabbing, turning around, trying to find the belt. I don't even start the engine until it is on, and I was born before there were laws about it. My mom will use the bathroom with the door open and initiate conversation. I'm always like, do you have no shame, woman? My parents both think it's totally cool to walk up and start talking to me through the door while I'm trying to use the toilet. She refuses to let me set the proper aspect ratio on her television. It doesn't matter that the picture is stretched out. She paid a lot of money for that widescreen television, so she should be able to use all of it. And she says the black bars on the sides of the screen are distracting. My mom is very overprotective. One of her rules is that I'm not allowed to stand next to a microwave because it might explode. I have an above the range microwave. I put something in the microwave and while I was waiting for it to cook, I started cleaning the stovetop. The microwave must have built up pressure, because with time left on the timer, the door flew open. It hit me in the head and knocked me to the ground. My dad has his phone on all time. The screen. He walks into my room to say goodnight to me. The screen is visible through his pants. Sometimes we, phone people, forget to put the settings back right when switching over contacts to a new phone. It requires the screen to be on stay awake mode. Edit. Smartphones. My dad always puts bread and tortillas on top of the microwave, then complains when it has mold just a few days after purchasing it. Instead of listening to me, he be that it's Walmart's fault for selling him expired food. No dad, it's because you put a bag of bread over the hot microwave which ends up creating moisture in the bag and that moisture causes fungus to grow. I dunno. I've had a loaf of bread on the microwave since September and there's no mold on it yet. I'm just keeping it now to see how long it takes. Trying to force their worldviews on me. Everyone does it whether they know it or not. When my mom is sending a text, she whispers every word she types. It drives me insane. And yet their entire text is in capitals. My mom believes everything. Told me the other day that drinking water that boiled eggs can cure headaches. Using the guise of spiritualism to justify their complete abandonment of any personal responsibility to the family. But spending time with us is still the most important thing in the world. Whenever my mom uses paper towels to dry her hands, she never throws them away. She leaves them on the counter to air dry and then she'll reuse them to wipe the mirror or mop the floor or something. She insists it's wasteful to just wipe your clean hands dry and throw the towel away. Might as well repurpose it. Which is fine, I guess, but she is always washing her hands and she never wipes stuff up fast enough to use them all up, so we end up with a mountain of used paper towels crowding every sink counter. As a kid I was punished if I threw them away. She'd reuse the towels until they disintegrated. When I moved, she literally gave me 4 plastic bags filled with used paper towels to clean my apartment with. After she visited me last week, I was wondering why there was so much trash, and I realized it's because she left a trail of bounty in every room she walked through. I opened my linen closet and there was a plastic bag of paper towels smashed into the corner. My parents chew with their mouths open. To make matters worse, my dad has dentures and my mom has a very weird chewing pattern. She always has to sip her tea very loudly as well. My mom also watches CNN most times of the day and talks about how America is going to have a revolution almost daily. Finally, my mom has a weird martyr syndrome going on, in which she tries to subtlety sabotage herself and then goes to her friends complaining about how life is so hard for her. For example, all us kids are grown and we manage ourselves. The house is an easy house to take care of. My mom hasn't had a paying job in over 30 years and my dad takes care of her. Her only true responsibility is preparing for the Sunday school class she teaches every week. She will stay up to 1 AM watching CNN or Juice TV. Purposely wakes up about 6 AM for no reason in particular, then goes crying to her friends about how tired she always is. One time my dad let her sleep in until 8 AM because of her tired complaining, and she started yelling at him for letting her sleep in. If you got to know my mom, you would see she is an overall very spoiled woman with few actual problems. She likes to create her own drama at times. To try initiate conversation, my mom asks the most irrelevant and random topics. Yesterday, out of the blue, she asked me what I know of dialysis. Like WTF. I have heard every one of my dad's jokes multiple times, and every time he learns a new one, he calls everyone he knows and tells them the joke. I overhear many of these phone calls. Insane cleanliness. They even have cabinets that they keep their daily cup in. They will drink water, rinse it out, and then hit the glass again. There is nothing out of place anywhere. My dad has gone out with me while I'm having a smoke and pick up a single leaf on the drive. It is like that at my grandparents'. My grandma and grandpa have a specific water glass they use. You have been visited by the Holy Doggo. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.